my architectural influences, one is an architect by the name of Juhani Palasma and another named John Pawson. They're both considered minimalist architects, although they often tend to scoff at the label of it, because what they're really trying to do is show people that you can embrace space, that every space does not need to be filled in order to be deemed beautiful. It's not about creating things that have to be overly ornate or cluttered or visually chaotic. And I feel the same way about sound. And what led me into scoring in and about the environment and architecture was this desire to learn how to remove things rather than add them in.
In interviews with people, and this is not you, but sometimes guests will not allow space between them and me, or all of us the space that's inviting us to have the dialogue. And so it tends to be, in my view, an artistic phenomenon that an artist recognizes this space that you're describing that doesn't have to be filled. And it's intelligent. It's alive. I don't know if that's what you meant.
Absolutely. I mean, space translates to so many different things. It does translate through nature, through sound, and through conversation, through relationships. It's an intimate thing. And I had written at one time, forthcoming recording that I'm putting out, that solely addresses this idea of space and intimacy around space, is that really every aspect of our daily lives is a spatial experience.
You shared with me about this woman who's doing this grand installation. Is it in the New York airport? And that you were so excited about it and that you could see yourself doing that.
Yes, I actually don't know who the artist was who created this sound and visual, really sound and light installation that I had the fortune of experiencing through the Detroit Metropolitan Airport, where you're riding on that conveyor belt that takes you from Terminal B to Terminal C. And the lights flash in syncopation with the music. It's a bit of a symphony. And as it's playing, the lights are blinking sort of in relation to the beat. So as you're moving through this, it's almost like you're transporting through a giant artery of sound and light.
Wow. Is that what you mean when you talk about incorporating sound in architecture, something like that, an installation like that? Is that what you meant?
That's one aspect of it. And another aspect is creating the illusion of space. I've also done work for the theater as a sound designer, where I had created for a minimal soundstage effects that would give the audience the illusion that doors are opening and closing, that one is walking up stairs when in fact there are no stairs there, that there are animals around when I could create animal sounds, dogs barking or cows mooing or sheep baaing, or baaing is a word, right?
Bah. Reminds me of Disneyland a little bit. The way you're imaginative like that.
In a sense it is. It's using your imagination, and it's allowing, again, to use the space metaphor, it's allowing your audience to utilize their imagination rather than completely dictate to them what they should be hearing. Now, to some degree, you are giving them the tools. You are giving them the sounds. And very much like Ennio Morricone, who in his compositions, especially for the more familiar ones, like the theme for the good, the bad, and the ugly, he non-traditionally uses instruments like harps and cracking of whips and all sorts of Foley-type sounds to create a scene, a Western scene, giving you something that's cinematic without the use of a visual. And that's what I've been working towards with my own music.
You also do backup singing. How long have you been a backup singer as well?
I've been doing backup singing for a little over 15 years.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, and it's been really great. It really started off where I was asked to do a few projects here and there with artists who were releasing albums, and then I was brought on to do live work. Doing backup for live and doing backup for studio is, while it's very similar, you tend to be more expressive. You're on the stage in a live show, being perhaps a little bit more theatrical without being over the top. And you're asked without really being directly asked not to upstage the lead singer. Whereas when you're in the studio, your role is to really go full force and enhance as much as you can your support for the lead singer.
I've been going to live concerts since I was 7, and that's a while now. That means I'm only in my 20s. No, I remember my first concert was the Ohio Players at the Greek Theater.
Oh, I love the Ohio Players.
Actually, I take that back. That was my second one. My first one was the OJs. And I used to go and watch these groups and then go home and imitate them dancing. And I did that for like 20 years. But anyway, there's something about live music when you're watching the backup singers that they really are integral to what's happening as long as it's all coalescing, right? At least from the audience perspective, and yet it must have its own intricate dynamics to be effective and successful as a backup singer, to be able to come in and work with bands that are already formed and all the players know each other and everything, to be able to come in. And I just wondered, is there any experience that you would like to share with us about that?
Yes, well, it is about coming in with a healthy ego. It is about listening to the band. As a vocalist, you are still an instrument, and it's really important to hear. And this is where the term arranger, or the role as arranger, really comes in as a benefit. Is that backup vocalists often end up developing really great arranging skills because you're straddling between supporting the lead vocalist, and you're also straddling the other side, which is working with the rhythm section or even the orchestra in some cases.
Do you think that these type of assignments and jobs find you the way the music finds you? In other words, the business of being in music, whether you're a backup singer or arranger, a composer, whatever, that capacity finds you as much as you have that capacity and find the assignments or the jobs?
I think so. That's largely been my experience. One assignment often leads to another. And as you and I had spoke once before, that contextual destiny or synchronicity, it's about being available. It's about being in the right place at the right time, but it's not all happenstance, luck, or fate. Sometimes it really is about opening up that path, opening up that channel. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, oftentimes, more often than not, you're in the right place. Even if things aren't moving at a rapid-fire pace, there's a flow. You can tell in your career when there's not a flow. So when you're finding yourself maybe doing too many assignments or too many things that don't feel very related to what you're aspiring to.
That's very insightful.
And I think it really applies to everything, actually. I would say across the board, whether you're, a composer or an accountant or a doctor, it is about staying focused. It is about nurturing and paying attention. And if I may use space, it is about taking some space, adding a little bit of space around you so that you have some kind of a vision, oftentimes where it's both a blessing and a curse when sometimes you can get a lot of assignments at once. Even if they all sound good, it really is about time and giving the best of yourself to that assignment. And you don't want to take on too many things and do them in a sloppy fashion, because if your reputation precedes you, then you will not get any more offerings.
You speak a lot about the importance of being self-sufficient as an artist. What does that mean now? I mean, it sounds obvious, be self-sufficient, but what does that mean to you?
What does it mean to me? It's something that I guess I developed over the years when I realized that, like the music industry, and again, like some business models, that it's often a lot of smoke and mirrors, and that it does not hurt to be educated. And one of the downfalls, I think, in creativity